everyone, and welcome to only my second Transform Through Travel webinar. It's fantastic to have you here. And before I crack on with this, which is all about creating your life list, which is something I'm hugely passionate about, and I'll explain to you why. For your own inspiration, I've added into the chat my list of 201 inspirational travel bucket list ideas. So hopefully they will give you some inspiration. But throughout this whole webinar, I'm going to talk you through how powerful having a life list or a bucket list can be, why I believe so, because it's absolutely transformed my life and certainly my journey over the last 10 years. And also some real practical steps of how you can not just create a list for yourself, but make it become a reality and make it actually change your next chapter, wherever in life you sit. So I'm yet to become very proficient at running a Zoom meeting, but I'm going to toggle, I hope, now between my slides. If you have any questions or anything, then I'll check on the chat at the end of this webinar, and answer any questions you have then. Also, just to flag that for joining me live, it means you are eligible for a huge bonus. So I'm going to be picking a name out after this meeting to win 30-minute travel coaching consultation with me. So great prize. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get on with the presentation. So hopefully I can help you to create your own life list. So today is all about creating a bucket list. I call it my life list. And after I've shared a little bit about my story, I'm going to talk you through why I changed the name of it. But first, what is a bucket list, which is what most people refer to it as? A bucket list refers to a number of experiences or achievements that a person hopes to have or accomplish during their lifetime. It is things to do before you kick the bucket, i.e., you die. But before I go into any more detail, I wanted to share a little bit about my story and why I changed the name from bucket list to life list. This is me way back in my 20s. This was my first proper introduction to travel. I'd never been that far before I became a student and went with some friends to the Greek islands, but decided somehow that I wanted travel in my future. So I worked two jobs to save enough money. And when I was 22, I took the bold move to get a flight on my own to Nairobi in Kenya, where I joined a group of 13 other people to do an overland through 13 countries. No, sorry, 9 countries over 3 months through Central and Eastern Africa. It was the most unbelievable experience. I sat with the gorillas in Rwanda. I got manhandled by chimpanzees in Burundi, visited the Okavango Delta, went to the equator, met the Masai Mara. And who could come back from a trip like that and not be changed? I had seriously got the travel bug, and my only aim was to get a proper job so I could then travel more, travel wider, see everything that I possibly could. So for 18 months, I was a sales representative for a pharmaceutical company. Loved the job, but then I gave everything up to travel for 18 months. I headed on my own through Europe and then over to Australia, where my family, my sister lives, and New Zealand, and then came back on my own for 2 months through Indonesia. Again, an amazing experience. It really, certainly solo travel particularly, gave me self-confidence, resilience, problem solving like you wouldn't believe. It enabled me to do the job that I had so much better than I did. It gave me so much more confidence. I loved every minute, even the hard bits, and there were a lot of hard bits. But that was it. Travel was cemented in my life. So I came back and I had the intention to start a new job, stay there for about 3 months to earn enough money to then go off and travel in India. That was my plan. But as we all know, the best laid plans um, have a habit of not quite coming to fruition, sometimes in the most beautiful way. 6 months after I got back from my trip, I got together with Terry, who then became my future husband. He was my husband, but he was also my best friend, and he was an ever faithful traveling companion. We were together for 18 incredibly happy years. And I didn't just stay in the job for 3 months. I stayed in my job for 18 years as well. Um, and we had the most amazing adventures. We maxed out everything we possibly could out of 25 days holiday a year. Um, and we had a lot of fun. What can I say? Except that the fun came to an end back in 2014 when Terry went in for heart surgery. And unfortunately, he never made it back to me. If you've ever experienced something like this, or hopefully you haven't, but to try and put it into context, I kind of say it's like everything that you know about life and everything that you expect to happen in your future is just gone overnight. I literally didn't know what to do with myself. So to help, my friends and family stepped into the breach. And for the next year, I got all sorts of invites to go and join them on trips. They knew how much travel was important to me. I ended up going to Borneo in search of orangutans. I went skiing in Canada. I went on a camping trip around Oregon, island hopping in Greece with my sister, and then to the happiest place on earth, which you can imagine that's a slightly empty smile for me, Disneyland with my family. I had some amazing support over that year. I said yes to everything that people asked me if I wanted to do with them. And it really helped to break up that year. So it meant I only had to be at home for like 6 weeks before I could then go away again. And the going away meant escaping from everything that had just happened and having to deal with all of that, all of the grief and everything that came from that. But at the end of the year, I had a number of realizations. I recognized that this wasn't sustainable. So far, I'd said yes to all of the offers I'd had for travel, but I knew that eventually they'd dry up. I wouldn't always be on everybody's agenda. But also, when would I do the things that really sparked me up? I was busy doing all of the trips that my friends and my family really, really wanted to do and kind of going along for the ride and being a companion. But some of them were absolutely amazing. All of them were amazing, but they weren't things that truly sparked me up. And I also had the recognition that I was on my own. There was absolutely nothing I could do about that. And the only person who could create something out of what life was now for me was myself. And I had to create a life for myself. And if you've ever been through something like this, and like I say, I desperately hope you haven't, and you never do. But I'd been in a relationship, I'd been a person, and I had a part of this amazing couple that was Terry and Sue. And now I was on my own. And I didn't really know who I was anymore. I knew who I was before Terry. I knew who I was with Terry. But in terms of who I was now as Sue on my own, I really didn't know. I was in my mid-40s and I kind of needed to find myself. So what I decided to do was I decided to create a list. Um, and so I sat down one day, which probably rolled into about 2 weeks in the end, whenever I had a spare moment and my little notebook with me, I started writing down loads of ideas of things that might be interesting for me to do. A lot of them were travel based, understandably. This is actually my list. Um, and I've done a few of those, haven't done all of them. So I wrote down everything that I wanted to do in life. I bought a special notebook. It was gold, silver rather. And having written out this list of everything, I then went through and I put each item at the top of a page in my notebook. And then I started Googling and researching what each item, each action, each activity that was on this list I looked at big and expensive things, small and simple things, stuff I could do at home, stuff could do a long way away. Some were specific to a location, others were kind of general. Then I looked at what I could combine. I looked at various different websites to do as much research as I can, and I looked at other places to find more inspiration of things that I could add to my list. This became a real Bible of everything I needed to start achieving my list. In the end, it had 117 things on it. No more, no less. 120 was way too many. 115, not enough. So it had 117 things on my list. And I called it my list of things. And the reason I called it that is for understandable reasons. Calling it my bucket list, things to do before you die, was way too close to home for me. Oh, sorry, skipping forward. What am I doing there? So why did I call it my life? So then I got the idea, sorry, to call it my life list. And this is why. What's the difference between a bucket list and a life list? So both help guide your dreams and aspiration, but they are there for different reasons. A bucket list, as things to do before you die, focuses on once in a lifetime experiences, a kind of tick box thing. Whereas a life list is a more empowering. It frames it around your aspirations of things that enrich your life. In the present now, it's not a tick box list. It's what will you enrich your life? And in my head, it was things to do to bring me back to life. The difference is a life list encourages ongoing growth rather than a race against time and an urgency. And like I said, this tick box mentality. It also emphasizes personal fulfillment over external achievements and focuses on the joy and the self-discovery rather than the urgency and pressure that comes with it. And so, welcome to my life list. And here are some of the activities that I did in the next 5 years. My life list became like a roadmap for me. And my travels enabled me to breathe, to grieve, to heal, and finally to start finding myself again and finding my smile again, which, trust me, I'd lost somewhere along the way, understandably. So I learned to sail around the Caribbean and in the UK. I went parascending in Turkey. I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro to celebrate my 50th birthday. I was in a yoga retreat in Cuba, went whitewater rafting in Costa Rica, had an amazing couple of weeks exploring the Galapagos Islands. These aren't rocks behind me, by the way, in this picture. That's marine iguanas. I volunteered at a wildlife sanctuary in Namibia. I visited the Amazon rainforest. I went and learned salsa and also Spanish and ticked off Cuba. So that was three things. Like I say, I like to combine them. I hiked the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. And I went on a tour around the Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia, the Bolivian salt flats. Amazing, unbelievable, unforgettable experiences and real adventures. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk you through the process that I went through and how I can help you to create your own life list, which is what we're calling it now, if you don't mind. And what I want you to do is, if you've got a notebook, perfect, start to write these down. Maybe grab a few sheets of paper and write one of these titles on the top of each, because if you're going to do it properly, then it will take a little bit of time to gather your thoughts around your life list. On the first piece of paper, or you can rewatch this, I'll send you the link, but rewatch this. What is on your life list? So I want you to focus in on, what are you passionate about? Where are you dreaming of visiting? What would you love to do? What energizes you generally, as well as what gets you excited when you think about traveling? What brings you joy? What brings you comfort? I want you to wrap all of that up into thoughts, ideas, activities, whatever is in your mind, and only take 15 minutes. And I want you to write down as many things that come into your mind as possible within that time. You should, by the end of it, have at least 20 things. 20 experiences. I don't want you to think too deeply. I don't want you to analyze the practicalities of how you might do it, when you can do it, whether you can afford it, or anything like that. I just want you to write down at least 20 things in the next 15 minutes that you're passionate about, that fill you with joy, that uplift you, that energize you, that make you really want to achieve this. And then next piece of paper, or however you want to do it, next page in your book. What are your big dreams? Now, I want you to imagine that you have no restrictions on budget, on time, on distance, on health, on fitness, on anything like that. What would be the really big ticket items on your list? For example, we've already talked, well, I mentioned it. I've got a lot more to say about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, but that's for another time. Is it to hike to Everest Base Camp? Maybe visiting Antarctica, which is still on my list. Galapagos Islands, where I took this photo. Maybe it's a tour around Europe or an African safari or anything that you feel may be inaccessible to you because of time, money, distance, health, fitness, any of those, but they need to go on your list because we all need big goals. Then next page, next piece of paper, however you want to do it, think about and look at your diary for the next 12 months. Look at what you are committed to from February now until next February, maybe. What time do you have available? What time frames can you fit in between your work and between your other commitments? What finances do you have available to you? It might be that you have very limited finances, and that's all fine. It might be that you've got a little pot that you've been saving away for a rainy day or a huge dream trip. Whatever. Think about what you currently have available to you that you could commit to for the next year. It could be a city break. It could be a week-long vacation. Think about short haul versus a long haul trip. Maybe one-day activities. I had visiting various different castles and palaces in the UK on my list. Local versus international. Really think about what's available for you in the next 12 months in terms of time, in terms of finances, and what actually would it be good and fun to achieve. So for me, this was going to Europe. It was a long weekend in Copenhagen. But it fitted in with what I was able to do in the year that I did it. And then, next page, what could you do from home? So think about where you are, where you live. It doesn't involve a lot of traveling. What could you do from home or even at home? Is it a cookery class? Could you learn a language or a skill like a musical instrument? I started learning Spanish to challenge myself that I was rubbish at languages, and I'm still doing it 10 years on. You could do a bungee jump at home. You could achieve a health or fitness goal or a career or personal development goal. Or how about visiting a local tourist attraction? I had things like learn to fence, as in on guard, not put up a fence, on mine, which I did locally. I had have a go at gliding. That's what I'm doing there now, and it was about half an hour away from home. So think about what you could do from home. Now, once you've got those 4 lists, which you should have now, which are your initial brainstorming, what are your big dreams? You've got your 12 months, the next 12 months and your commitments. And then finally, you've got your what could you do from home? Have a think about some important considerations. For me, having my life list was all about experiences versus possessions. I wanted to do things and make memories, not necessarily have things. If having things is on yours, that's perfectly legitimate too, but make sure they're written down. If you want to own a designer bag or a particular set of books or something, make sure it's on the list. Focus on your passions and your interests. So think about your hobbies, think about your career, think about your personal growth that you want to do. Also, your health and fitness. Can you physically achieve what you've set your goal for? If you can't do it now, is there some way that you need to plan a fitness campaign so you are able to do it? Or do you need to find a way? There's always a way. So whether you might not be physically fit and active enough to do it now, there could well be a way that you are still able to do it. So think about that. And also think about personal growth. There might be quite a bit of work you need to do on overcoming your fears, understanding yourself better. Is there anything you're really scared of that you want to conquer? Also consider legacy and impact. How do you want to be remembered? Is it things like giving back, maybe volunteering what you want to put on there, creating something meaningful? Also consider your relationships. Is something on your list about spending quality time with loved ones, or do you want to reconnect with make new friends or reconnect with old ones? But also keep your list flexible and adaptable. I have changed mine at least once, taken things off that just didn't apply anymore, or that I had done a little bit of research and didn't feel comfortable with for ethical reasons anymore. They're off the list and other things come on, and things obviously get ticked off. So who's this gorgeous young man? When I was 49, I had on my list for a while that I wanted to sponsor a child. And so on my 49th birthday, I found little Mike, who is in Uganda, and he was 5 at the time, and I've been sponsoring him ever since. So we share a birthday, which is our big connection, and I get regular letters from him, which is amazing. I obviously send him stuff too. So what I want you to really think about is for many, many, many years, I had a list, but it was kind of all in my head, which means that if someone mentions something that's on your list, you're like, oh, yeah, I'd really like to do that, as opposed to being proactive. So what I want to encourage you to do is to write your list down. And this is why. Dreams stay dreams until you write them down. Firstly, written goals are more likely to be achieved. Studies say that 42% more likely to achieve goals when you actually write them down and put pen to paper. It also provides clarity and focus. So writing your list makes your dreams feel real and more tangible. And it also turns vague ideas into concrete plans, particularly as we're going to move on through this presentation. I can talk you through how you can not just have a list of stuff, but have something that really does go on to be something that really happens. So turning your travel dreams into reality. Commitment and motivation. Your brain registers written goals differently, keeps them top of mind, and it increases your drive to act. It gives you accountability. So a written list serves as a personal contract with yourself, making you more likely to follow through. It also gives you inspiration and direction. I'm particularly talking about having a life list when you're in midlife, because I believe that's the perfect time for reinvention. We've had stuff happen in our lives. Everybody is dealing with different things. And through having a life list, it gives you a gateway or a roadmap or a path to your next chapter. It also helps you shape your next chapter with purpose and excitement more than anything. I was so fired up with my little book. So take that first step, grab your books or your piece of paper or your notes app, whatever works for you. Start writing things down, and then let's work towards turning those travel dreams into a reality. So once you have those lists, I want you to pick 3 and only 3 from each list. So like we said, you've got your brainstorming list, your big dreams, your next 12 months, and what you want to do from home. And I want you prioritizing 3 of those. Put little stars by them or something. And if you can, mix it up. So you want some that are local, some that are international. Think about culture versus or adventure. Think about things that you can do on your own that you don't need to wait for anybody to be available for. But also think about, is there anything that you want to do as a group? Well, this is me in Cuba, by the way. So Cuba, like I said before, I ticked off three things. I ticked off going on a yoga retreat, I ticked off learning Spanish, and I ticked off Cuba in general. Um, Still remains my favorite country in the world. And then for each priority, I want you to answer these questions. Where are you going to do it? Some of them might be specific to a location. Some of them might not be, but I'd like you to research on where are the best places in the world for whatever it is your activity on your list. And could you also do it from home, or do you want to? Why is it important to you? So important. What drives you to actually want to make it a reality? What is it that makes your soul sing when you wrote that down on the piece of paper? The more you understand that, the more drive you're going to have to achieve it. And then when is the best time of year to do that? Is there a specific day, a specific month, a specific season which is ideal? It might be that there is only one opportunity per year, or even per number of years to do this. If it's an eclipse or something like that, it might be something that's very specific to a certain time. How long do you need, or how long would you like to take? Some of mine were explore, for example, I had explore the Caribbean. Yes, I could have had a week in Barbados, but actually I ended up spending 5 months going wherever the wind took me, and that's a story for another day around the Caribbean. But also, how much will it cost? I want you to think about the transport. I want you to think about the activity costs and the accommodation costs. And if you're not sure about any of those, then look them up. Get guidebooks that can help you, or look up blogs is the easiest way. Google any questions that you have. It's a fantastic source for all kinds of information. Blogs are fantastic for that. We'll get to that in a minute. And if it's really expensive, then are there any ways that you can make it cheaper? Are there any more budget-friendly alternatives? For example, this is me in the Ice Hotel. I was going to Canada, and I found out that there was an ice hotel which was on my list to stay in Quebec, and I was going on my own. So an ice hotel isn't a cheap budget room for the night, but it was something I really wanted to do. But what I found was there were kind of like very basic ice rooms. I think there were about four of them. Most of them were doubles, but I was in a single room. It's basically a box of ice. Everywhere else is extravagantly carved and beautifully made. But for me, all I wanted was to stay in an ice hotel, an ice hotel. I wasn't actually that bothered about whether or not it was beautifully carved. I was still going to see that. So there are always but more budget-friendly ways of doing things. Trust me. I've got lots of ideas on that. And then who else would you like to be involved, or who else needs to be involved? So, for example, this is me climbing Sydney Harbour Bridge, where I really wanted to do it with my family. So this is my sister and my nieces, and we did it a couple of years ago. Because that's actually a very special thing. If there's anything that you specifically want to do, one of my things was taking my nieces on a trip specifically, then make sure you make a note of that. But what else from your list could also be included? If you've got Visit Sydney to climb the Sydney Harbour Bridge, is there anything else in Australia that you could include with that? Such as visiting Alice Springs, Uluru, Ayers Rock, could be anything. What are the biggest challenges or roadblocks that will stop you from achieving that? Is it people? Is it personal self-doubts, fears, anything at all? And is there a way that you can overcome or minimize these? Then think about when you're going to do it, but even more so, when do you need to book it by? And do it. So, how are you going to make it happen? Firstly, it's document and share it. It increases accountability, it provides motivation, and it could inspire others. I publish mine on my blog, which I'm going to get to talk to you about in a second. And that actually sparked me to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. One of my friends saw it on my list. It was on her list. She got in touch and said, "Do you want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro together?" And we did. So you never know when it's going to inspire others, and you never know. Being accountable makes you way more likely to do it. But also believe it's going to be reviewed and updated. You need to keep it as it is for long enough so that you can tick plenty of things off. But also, life changes, you grow, your interests evolve, your goals adapt. Make it fluid as your life is. Update to keep it relevant and to keep it exciting. And also celebrate your achievements. If it's not a big enough celebration to be doing these amazing things in your life anyway, every time, no matter how small it is, if it's just booking something rather than actually doing it, celebrate however you like to celebrate. It boosts your motivation and it recognizes your progress. So you've got your life list, you've got a task that you need to create it. What comes next? Well, you should have if you've registered, and if you're on this, then if you're on this live, then I've added a list to the chat or a link to the chat with 201 inspirational travel bucket list ideas. They are all from me. They are some of them things that are on my list, others are adapted. Use it for inspiration. I certainly went searching loads of places for inspiration on what to put on mine. If you haven't got it, then let me know and I'll send it to you. If you're watching this after the event on YouTube, the link is below in the comments. Review what it says, adapt anything you need to. It might spark up some inspiration to create your own list. Also, I've documented all of my journey on my blog. And the reason I started my blog is because I realized when I was on a bus in Bolivia, I can't be the only woman who's in midlife who is on their own again. And I had the experiences that I talked to you before about my travels, which gave me the confidence to travel on my own and to seek out opportunities and experiences. I recognized that not everybody had that same self-confidence. So that's why I started my blog. And on there, you'll find all sorts of resources with guides, itineraries, solo travel guidance, ideas, anything. So if you're looking for any kind, and all of my life lists, my first one, all of the experiences I've had as a result, my review at the end of every year, I looked at what I'd achieved. So go on there if you're looking for inspiration. Hopefully you'll find endless inspiration on my blog. And everywhere I am Sue, where, why, what. Where do you go? Why do you go there? What do you do when you're there? And if you're not into reading, then head over to my YouTube channel. Also, Sue, where, why, what. I've got some videos on there about creating your life list, but also I have well over 300 videos. I put a new video out every Friday, which hopefully will inspire you to maybe add places to your list or things to do on your list. Endless opportunities, endless possibilities, loads and loads of ideas I hope you will find there. And also join me anywhere you are, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Pinterest, LinkedIn, everywhere. I am Sue, where, why, what, except LinkedIn, where I'm Sue Cockle, my alter ego, other way around, I think. But yes, come and join me, connect, and hopefully I am there to give you any inspiration that you need for making your life list happen. But I can help you in other ways too. And one of those is travel coaching. If you really want to unlock your travel dreams and create a life you love, then maybe contact me directly, because if you feel like any of these apply to you, there might be something that I can do to help you. So does the idea of traveling the world excite you, but also leave you feeling overwhelmed? Maybe you've always dreamed of exploring new places, but life, like work, family, and commitments have kept you busy. Now, the fact that you're here means that you're ready to embark on that dream journey. But if you really don't know where to start, if the thought of planning trips, navigating unfamiliar places, traveling alone can feel daunting, especially when you've never done it before. And that's where I can help you. So travel coaching is more than just trip planning. It's helping you to create meaningful and transformational travel experiences that align with your personal goals and your aspirations. Everything we've just been talking about. I can help you get clarity on what you want for travel. What is that deep-seated why that brings you here and makes you want to create your list in the first place? I can help you to identify your fears or any barriers that are holding you back and come up with developing strategies of how you can overcome these and also be there to help you build your confidence. It could be that you're traveling alone for the first time. It could be that you don't want to travel alone. You want to meet other people. I can help you to find those opportunities. It could be that you're just looking for a new adventure. I can help you with that too. It's personalized support to craft your ideal travel lifestyle. And hopefully I can help you. I can help you rediscover yourself through travel in the same way I use travel to reconnect with myself. I can provide guidance on building your travel life list, everything that we've been talking about today. I can offer support if you're hesitant about traveling solo. I can help you navigate those life transitions, that next chapter, through creating and helping you to plan your transformational journey. And I can give you the tools to travel and the confidence and the purpose to do it. But why me? Why me is standing by a glacier under a rainbow in Iceland. I have been traveling independently for well over 30 years now. I've seen 80 countries, I've visited 80 countries across 6 continents. I've done many of those alone, and I've done a lot of that alone in midlife since I was 45. I've traveled with companions. I can talk you through how to find the perfect travel companion, and I've done group tours. I've traveled on a budget, very budget backpacking, the cheapest hotel, or I shouldn't say hotel room, cheapest bed I ever had for the night, I think was £1.20. But I have also had the opportunity to experience a bit of luxury as well. As I said, when Terry was around, we very much organized our holidays in line with limited travel time constraints, maxed them out. So I understand that. But I also more recently am very much into slow travel with no limitations on time and really making the most and getting under the skin of somewhere. I've also been featured in a number of different publications like HuffPost, You Magazine, Mail on Sunday, Women's Weekly. Yes, been featured in all of those. So somebody liked my story out there and is using it to inspire others. I've also been honoured to be guests on various podcasts, been invited to speak at conferences, a lot of that around solo travel in midlife and when you're over 50. And a lot of that comes from the confidence I got through 18 years in corporate life, where I spent some of it in sales as a representative, but most as a sales trainer, as a sales manager, as a leader in a large corporate company. And this is it was way before we had smartphones and stuff. So it's about the only photo I could find of me actually at work. And all of that throughout all of my time as a trainer, as a manager, as a leader, I also took a number of qualifications in coaching and also helped others who wanted to learn to coach as well. So I was training people on how to coach too and developing their coaching skills. So when I found out that there was such a thing as travel coaching, I made sure that I was first in the queue to get my travel coach certification, which I now have. So I'm a proud member of the Travel Coach Network, and I gained my travel coaching certification a couple of years ago. If you do want to come to me and have a one-off session to get one of those life-changing experiences, a one-off 60-minute session is currently £65 or $80 US. Or what I ideally like to do is to help you along with the journey. So I recommend 4 sessions, and you've got the price there. And that is for a pre-planning session, one before you go to make sure you have everything in place and we've overcome any fears or barriers. One while you're on your trip to make sure that you are A, on track with fulfilling your goals, B, there as a sounding board if you have any challenges that you have live while you're on the trip, or C, cheerlead you because you've done a phenomenal job and I want to be there to hear all about your stories and what's happening with you. And fourthly, there's almost no point in having these amazing transformational life-changing journeys if we don't take what we got from that and bring it back with us in our luggage into normal life. So the 4th session is all about how can you embed those lessons learned and what are you going to do as a result of those lessons learned back in normal life. And trust me, life may not be normal after this. So if you are ready to take the first step, if you're ready to explore the world, if you're ready to reconnect with yourself, if you're ready to turn your travel dreams into a reality, then get in touch with me on sue@suewherewhywhat, or via any of those social media platforms that we mentioned. Get in touch and let's chat. But if travel coaching is not available to you right now, if that's not necessarily something that you want, then I also have my new Find Your Way program, which is the ultimate guide to starting your travel journey. So it is for women who are ready to discover the world one adventure at a time. It's a 6-week course specifically designed by me for people like me. If you're ready to break free and embrace extraordinary through travel. If you really want to travel, you really want this future of and you really want to see those life list dreams become a reality, but literally have no idea where to start, then this is exactly been designed for you. If you're dreaming of wandering through European cities or lounging on tropical beaches, maybe in the Caribbean, or exploring vibrant cultures like Cuba or anywhere in Europe or Africa or South America, this course will give you everything you need to confidently embark on your next adventure. What it includes is there's 6 in-depth video modules, which is over 6 hours of tutorials covering everything from mindset shifts to detailed travel logistics. So I've distilled my 30 years of travel experience into an easy step-by-step guide to how to plan your perfect trip. There are downloadable resources, there's workbooks, there's checklists, there's budget trackers, there's planning templates, and there's journal prompts, which will help you guide through the whole journey. And also, you will automatically join my private group of like-minded women on similar journeys to share their stories, tips, and have my ear and my support absolutely throughout, always available to answer questions. It's not finite, but it's over 6 weeks. You'll get a new email with access to the next week in terms of the course, just so that it paces you. I want you to be moving through this course at pace so that at the end of 6 weeks, you should have a trip planned. We should have overcome all of your objections, all of your fears, all of your challenges, and also helped you to plan everything that you need. So all modules continue to be available to you though. So once you've gone through that 6 weeks, everything will be available. So you've got them as a refresher if you need to, or if the time's not right for you to go through it now, then it's all still going to be available for you in the future. And then my plan is once a week, I'll go live to answer any questions and do things like this, like additional live support. And in time, invite guest speakers as well. What I don't do is there's no travel booking, so flights, accommodation and tours. There's lots of suggestions, there's templates, there's ideas, there's sharing of apps and websites and all of that, but I don't actually do the booking for you. Doesn't include personal travel expenses, doesn't include specific travel insurance or health advice or any personal travel coaching. Like I said, I've already talked you through the personal travel coaching side of things, but this is what you'll learn. Transformational travel. It's about not ticking the things off the list. It's about finding your joy and enriching your life, and not just enriching your life while you're away, but doing it for when you come back. Offers you a chance to find your next chapter while exploring the world. It also helps you with travel planning, mastering the use of travel apps and tools for booking flights, accommodation, activities, everything I know, I'm sharing. Safety and security, absolutely crucial. And we deal with that in week 2, so that we get any of that out on the table. I've traveled extensively on my own, made lots of mistakes, so you don't have to. And I have a lot to share around the safety and security side of things. Cultural insights. Understand cultural etiquette, how to navigate new environments, how to be respectful, and how you can do it with confidence. We also deep dive into destination selection. You can learn how to choose your perfect destination based on your interests, your budget, your experience, and what it is that's driving your desire to travel. We spend a lot of time on your why for travel. We then look at budgeting and finance, so practical tips on how to save money, how to create a travel budget, finding affordable travel options so that you can help save money when you're either planning or when you're going or when you're away, and how you can save for that dream trip. We talk planning and preparation. I teach you the art of efficient planning, let you know my must-have items, how to prepare for different climates, different activities, hand luggage only versus hold luggage. And also, in the final lesson, we look at solo travel, something I am hugely passionate about. And I share with you all my tips, all my tricks. Just because you don't have a travel buddy does not mean you need to miss out on any of those travel dreams. Trust me. And it doesn't have to be a scary thing either. I can help you to overcome any of that. So if you are ready to begin your journey through Find Your Way, and if you are watching this on YouTube, then the link for Find Your Way program is underneath as well. Why not take your first step towards that adventure of a lifetime? And the price for Find Your Way is £99. So that's 6 hours plus all those templates, worksheets, journal prompts, everything that you need to create that dream trip. So that's the question. What have you got to lose? So that's me. That's my presentation. I hope I've inspired you and given you loads of ideas and some real guidance on how you can develop your life list. Sorry, I'm really bad at multitasking. I'm going to go back to the actually, I'm going to shut this down. Can I shut this down? Let's go there. Oh, stop sharing. That's what I want to do. Sorry about that. Stop sharing. Like I say, rubbish at multitasking. So let me try and go back to Zoom and see if we've got any questions. Doesn't look like we have. So I hope you've enjoyed this speedy session on creating your life list. And if you have any questions, then don't hesitate to get in touch. Also, don't hesitate to pick up your copy of the 201 Inspirational Travel Bucket List Ideas. And also have a look at all of the details about Find Your Way, and if you want to sign up for that. But likewise, if you have any questions, then like I say, contact me anywhere on Sue, Where, Why, What. And I will answer any questions, or we can have a personal, proper face-to-face chat if that's going to help you more. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've got a lot out of it. I hope I've inspired you to create your life list and to go out there and really make those travel dreams a reality. So thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.